Dear learner, I welcome you in massive open online course that is Principles of Electrical Sciences in this session. Myself Dr. Sanjay Agrawal, Associate Professor in Electrical Engineering, School of Engineering and Technology, IGNOU, New Delhi. In previous lecture we have discussed two network theorems, that is superposition theorem and Thevenin's theorem. How this theorem can be applied in circuit analysis has also been explained with support of examples. In this lecture, I am going to explain two more theorems, that is Norton's theorem and maximum power transfer theorem, which are also very useful in circuit analysis. As you have already understood Thevenin theorem, so you will be easily able to understand this theorem too. So first of all, I am going to discuss Norton's theorem. Any two-terminal, linear, bilateral, active network can be replaced by simple Norton current source in parallel with Norton equivalent resistance, where Norton current is short circuit current through the load terminals and Norton resistance is the equivalent resistance looking from two terminal, while all independent energy sources are replaced by their internal resistance. And what are those ideal internal resistance? These energy sources may be the ideal voltage source or maybe the ideal current source. So ideal voltage source can be replaced by the short circuit because internal resistance of ideal voltage source is 0. And if there is an ideal current source, then it can be replaced by open circuit because internal resistance of ideal current source is infinite. Figure A shows a simple block representation of a network with several active and passive elements with the load resistance RL connected across the terminal A and B. And figure B shows the Norton equivalent circuit with the Norton current, that is IN, connected across load resistance RL and Norton resistance RN. Now what are the steps to find out Norton current and Norton resistance? So first step is the terminal of the branch or element through which current is to be found out are marked as say A and B after removing the concerned branch or element. And second step is after short circuiting these two terminals A and B by zero resistance wire, find the short circuit current, that is ISC, through these two terminals using the conventional network either by the mesh analysis or by the nodal analysis. Third step is Norton resistance Rn is found out depending upon whether the network contains dependent source or not. If there is a dependent source, then Norton resistance can be calculated as ratio of the open circuit voltage to the short circuit current. If there is a no dependent source, or you can say there is a without dependent source, then Norton equivalent resistance can be calculated as equivalent resistance looking into the concerned terminal with all voltage and current source replaced by their internal resistances. So if there is a ideal voltage source, that means you have to replace this ideal voltage source by the short circuit. If it is a ideal current source, then you have to replace this by the open circuit. Then replace the network with the Norton current IN in parallel with the Norton resistance RN and the concerned branch resistance across the load terminal A and B as shown in the figure. Now here you can see there is a load resistance is connected between terminal A and B, and current flowing through this terminal can be termed as load current IL. So now because you have to find the load current, and this load current can be easily calculated by the current division rule. So total current, that is a Norton current, and Norton resistance, that is Rn, is connected across the load resistance RL. So what will be the value of the load current? This IL is equal to total current, that is Norton current, multiplied by the resistance of opposite branch of branch AB, that means multiplied by Rn, divided by the summation of the resistance of these two branches, that means Rn and RL. So finally IL can be calculated as IN multiplied by Rn upon Rn plus RL. Now this Norton theorem can be applied in any network. So just we are considering one example. Here you can see in the figure 1, there are two voltage sources. One is a 10 voltage source, another is a 20 voltage source. and there is a three resistances are connected. One is 10 ohm, another is 20 ohm, and third one is 40 ohm resistance is connected between terminal A and B. So our aim is to calculate this load current through the branch AB. So what is the first step? First step is just replace this load resistance RL between terminal A and B, and now you short circuit the terminal A and B. So here you can see in the figure 2, the load resistance RL is replaced and this AB terminal is sorted by the some simple wire. Here you can see, and that current will be called short circuit current ISC, or you can say the Norton current IN. Now because there are two voltage sources in this circuit, that means this can be, for solving this circuit you can apply the superposition theorem also here. So when the terminal A and B are sorted together, the two resistors are connected in parallel across their two respective voltage sources, and the current flowing through each resistor as well as total circuit current can now be calculated as, just now you apply the superposition theorem. So that means as per superposition theorem, you have to consider one source at a time and remaining sources will be replaced by their internal resistance. So here we are considering 10 volt voltage source as shown in the figure 3, and another voltage source is replaced by short circuited. So when 10 voltage source is considered, then 20 volt voltage source is short circuited as shown in figure 3. So what will be the current I1? Because this terminal AB is short circuited, so equivalent resistance between terminal AB is equal to what? This AB resistance 0 is parallel with the 20 ohm resistance. So equivalent resistance will be what? 0. That means whole current will flow through only 10 ohm and through terminal AB. So what will be the value of this current I1? I1 is equal to what? 10 volt divided by 10 ohm resistance. So I1 is equal to 10 divided by 10, that is 1 ampere current. Now you have to consider another voltage source, that is a 20 volt voltage source, and remaining source that was a 10 volt voltage source, it has to be replaced by short circuited. Here you can see in the figure. So what will be the current I2? So I2 current is equal to what? This 20 volt divided by the 20 ohm resistance. So again this current is coming 1 ampere. So as per superposition theorem, what will be the value of the current, this ISC? It will be the algebraic sum of the current I1 and I2, because direction of this I1 current and I2 are same. That means simply you have to add. That means it is a algebraic sum. So net current flowing through terminal AB, you can say this is ISC current, or you can say IN current, or you can say this current is IAB, is equal to I1 plus I2. So what is the value of I1? 1 ampere. And what is the value of I2? 1 ampere. So 1 plus 1 is added, so it comes 2 ampere. That means now you have calculated the value of the Norton current, or you can say short circuit current, and it comes 2 ampere. Now next step is you have to find out the Norton equivalent resistance. So how to calculate the Norton equivalent resistance? Norton equivalent resistance is the resistance looking from two terminal into a network while all independent energy sources are replaced by their internal resistance. So in this circuit there are two voltage sources, or you can say there is a two independent voltage source. That means these two voltage sources are replaced by their internal resistance. So internal resistance of ideal voltage source is 0. That means you have to replace these two voltage sources by the short circuited. So here you can see, that means when these two voltage sources are short circuited, so this 10 ohm resistance and 20 ohm resistance are in parallel. So what will be the equivalent resistance, or you can say the Norton resistance? So this is a parallel combination of 10 ohm and 20 ohm. So it can be calculated as Rn equal to 20 into 10 upon 20 plus 10. So value of this Norton resistance comes 6.67 ohm. Now you have calculated the value of the short circuit current, that is called Norton current. You have also calculated the value of the Norton resistance. So what you have to do? Just now you have to solve with the original 40 ohm load resistor connected across terminal A and B as shown in figure. So here you can see these two resistance, load resistance which have a value 40 ohm and Norton resistance 6.67 ohm are connected in parallel with Norton current which have a value 2 ampere. Now what is your aim? Our aim is to calculate the current flowing through terminal AB, that is called load current. So again this load current can be calculated by just applying the current division rule. So IL is equal to what? IN multiplied by Rn upon Rn plus RL. What is this Rn? Rn is the resistance opposite to the branch AB. So just you are applying the current division rule and you can easily calculate the value of load current. So value of Norton current is 2 ampere and Norton resistance is 6.67 ohm and load resistance is 40 ohm. Just put all the value in this equation, so you are able to calculate the value of the load current IL. It comes 0.286 ampere. So this is how you can apply the Norton theorem in any circuit to find out the value of the load current, or you can say to find the value of the load voltage across any terminal. Now we have to understand conversion of Thevenin's equivalent into Norton equivalent. A Thevenin equivalents can be converted into its Norton's equivalent and vice versa. According to the statement, Norton's current source equal to the short circuit current, that is ISC or IN, that flows across the terminals A and B when they are short circuited. So here you can see in the diagram, here the Thevenin voltage VTH is connected in series with Thevenin resistance RTH and load resistance RL. So what will be the value of this short circuit current or Norton current? It will be equal to the ratio of VTH to the RN. As you know, Rn is equal to RTH, because to method to find out the Norton equivalent resistance and is equal to the method to find out the Thevenin resistance. So this is, you can say it is just like a how to convert voltage source into current source. Now conversion of Norton equivalents into Thevenin equivalent. Likewise, a Norton circuit can be converted into its Thevenin equivalent. The Thevenin's equivalent source VOC or VTH is the voltage on open circuit and is given as VOC or VTH is equal to ISC, that is short circuit current, multiplied by Thevenin theorem. And it is interesting to note down that each theorem is dual of each other. So here you can see this Norton current is just like a current source and Thevenin equivalent is just like a voltage source. So in Norton equivalent there is a Norton current and these two resistance Rn and RL are connected in parallel with the Norton current. And now you are converting this Norton equivalent into Thevenin equivalent, where this IN can be calculated as VTH multiplied by Rn. So the value that you will get, it is called VTH, and Rn can be connected in series with Thevenin voltage, that is called RTH, and load resistance is connected between terminal A and B. So this is how you can convert Thevenin equivalent into Norton equivalent or Norton equivalent into Thevenin equivalent. Now we are going to discuss next theorem, that is called maximum power transfer theorem. Any linear bilateral two-terminal network consisting of a resistance load being connected to a DC source, maximum power will be transferred from source to the load resistance when load resistance, that is R suffix L, is equal to the source resistance, that is network's Thevenin equivalent resistance RTH. You can say RL is equal to RTH as per the maximum power transfer theorem. So here you can see in the circuit that Thevenin voltage VTH is connected in series with the RTH, and across the terminal there is a load resistance RL is connected. So in this particular circuit, the maximum power will be transferred from source to load when this load resistance RL is equal to the internal resistance of the circuit, that is called Thevenin resistance. Now from the diagram you can calculate the current I, as I can be written as, because there are two resistance are connected in series with the Thevenin voltage. So what will be the value of this current I? I can be written as VTH upon RTH plus RL. So what will be the power? As you know, power can be written as P is equal to I square R. So power delivered by the circuit to the load can be calculated as P is equal to I square R. And what is the value of I? Value of I is VTH upon RTH plus RL. So just put the value in this equation. So it comes VTH square upon RTH plus RL whole square multiplied by RL. The condition for the maximum power transfer can be obtained by differentiating the above expression for power delivered with respect to the load resistance. Since we want to find out the value of load resistance for the maximum power transfer, so just after the differentiating this equation with respect to load resistance RL, just put equal to 0. So here you can see P equal to BTH square upon RTH plus RL whole square into RL. Now differentiate this power with respect to the load resistance RL. So it can be written as del P over del R is equal to 0. So you have to differentiate this. So it can be differentiating as by parts. So first part is what? BTH square upon RTH plus RL whole square. So just put this value and you differentiate RL. So differentiation of RL with respect to RL is equal to what? So first term will become BTH square upon RTH plus RL whole square. Then you have to put the value plus and you have to differentiate first term and you treat second term as a constant. So second term is what? RL. So you have to differentiate BTH square upon RTH plus RL whole square. So differentiation of you can say x to the power n is equal to what? N x n minus 1. So just put this this formula here. So it will be what? It can be written as minus 2 BTH square upon RTH plus RL whole cube. So final differentiation of power with respect to RL can be written as del P over del. So final expression of this differentiation del P over del RL can be written as BTH square upon RTH plus RL whole square minus 2 BTH square upon RTH plus RL whole cube multiplied by RL. Now put this expression is equal to 0. So after the simplifying this above equation, we get RTH plus RL minus 2RL is equal to 0. So after solving this, you will get RL is equal to RTH. So as maximum power transfer theorem states that maximum power will be transferred from source to the load when this load resistance is equal to the internal resistance of the circuit, or you can say Thevenin resistance of the circuit. Now because you have to find out the what is the value of the maximum power. So under the condition of the maximum power transfer, the power delivered to the load is given by as P max is equal to what? BTH square upon RTH plus RL whole square multiplied by RL. So condition of the maximum power is what? RL is equal to RTH. So just put RL is equal to RTH in this expression, and after the putting this value, you will get P max is equal to BTH square upon 4RL. So whenever it is asked, just find out the value of the maximum power transfer in any given circuit. So what you have to do, because as you know formula P max is equal to BTH square upon 4RL. That means you have to find out the Thevenin voltage, at the same time you have to find the load resistance. And how to calculate the load resistance? Load resistance is equal to the Thevenin resistance. That means you have to also calculate the Thevenin equivalent resistance of that particular circuit. Now because we are interested to get the what is the efficiency of the maximum power transfer theorem. So efficiency can be explained as ratio of output upon input. And what is the value of this output? Value of this output is BTH square upon 4RL. And what is the input? Input is BTH square upon 4RL plus losses. And losses are what? BTH square upon 4RL. So after the solving this equation, when you will solve this particular expression, it comes 50%. So efficiency of the maximum power transfer theorem always comes 50%. For maximum power transfer to the load resistance should be equal to the Thevenin equivalent resistance, or you can say the Norton equivalent resistance, because method to find out the Norton equivalent resistance or Thevenin equivalent resistance are the same. Under the condition of the maximum power transfer, the efficiency of system is always 50%. So this is how we can calculate the efficiency of the maximum power transfer theorem. So this maximum power transfer theorem is applied where aim is to get to transfer the maximum power, not the efficiency. Now we have to understand what are the applications of the maximum power transfer theorem. The theorem of the maximum power transfer can be applicable in many ways to determine the load resistances, value that receive the maximum power from the supply, and the maximum power under the state of highest power transfer. Below are a few applications of the maximum power transfer theorem. First is This theorem is always sought in communication system. For instance, in community address system, the circuit is set for highest power transfer with making speaker, that is a load resistance, equivalent to the amplifier, that is called source resistance. So when the load and source have matched, then it has the equivalent resistance. And second application of the maximum power transfer theorem is in automobile engines, the power transmitted to the motor starter of the automobile will depend upon effective resistance of the motor, battery's inner resistance. When two resistance are equivalent, then highest power will be transmitted to the motor to activate the engine. So these are the application of the maximum power transfer theorem. This theorem is particularly useful for analyzing communication network where goal is transfer of maximum power from source to the load and not the highest efficiency. While in case of power system, our aim is to get maximum efficiency by minimizing power losses in the process of transmission and distribution. Here aim is not to transfer the maximum power from source to load. Here aim is to get the maximum efficiency. So from the above information, finally we can conclude that this theorem is used often to assure that the highest power can be transmitted from source of power to a load. Now we can take one example and we can apply the maximum power transfer theorem, and then we can calculate what will be the value of the maximum power transferred from source to load across the load resistance RL, and what will be the value of the load resistance to get the maximum power transfer from source to load. So first, as you know, what is the condition of the maximum power transfer theorem? Maximum power will be transferred from source to load when load resistance is equal to the internal resistance of the circuit, or you can say it is equal to the Thevenin resistance of the circuit. So our aim is what? Our aim is to get the Thevenin resistance of the circuit. And how you can calculate the Thevenin resistance of the circuit? Thevenin resistance is nothing but it is equivalent resistance looking from two terminal into a network while all independent energy sources are replaced by their internal resistance. So in the previous circuit you can notice there are two energy sources. One is ideal voltage source, that value have 12 volt, and another is ideal current source that have a value 2 ampere. So what you have to do, you have to replace this voltage source by the short circuit and ideal current source by the open circuit, as you can see in the figure A. Now just you have to find the Thevenin resistance. So here you can notice that branch BD, which have resistance 12 ohm, is in parallel with resistance 6 ohm, which is connected between branch AB. So that means this 6 ohm and 12 ohm are in parallel, and equivalent resistance of this two resistance 6 ohm and 12 ohm are connected in series with 3 ohm resistance and 2 ohm resistance. So just solving this expression you can find out the value of RTS. So RTS is equal to what? This resistance between EC, that is 2 ohm, and resistance between BE, that is 3 ohm. You add this, and equivalent of this BC resistance is added with the equivalent resistance of two branches 6 ohm and 12 ohm. So after the solving you will get the value of Thevenin equivalent resistance is 9 ohm. Now you have calculated the value of Thevenin resistance, so that means you are able to get what is the value of the load resistance to get the maximum power from source to load. So what is the value of this load resistance? Value of this load resistance is nothing but it is a 9 ohm. Now because you have to find out the value of the maximum power transfer also, and what is the formula of the maximum power transfer? That Pmax is equal to Bth square upon 4RL. So you have already calculated the value of load resistance. Now you have to calculate the Thevenin voltage across two terminals, that is between C and F. This voltage will be called Thevenin voltage. So now you can calculate the Thevenin voltage. So to get the Bth, we consider circuit in figure B, applying the mesh analysis in ABDA. So here you can see there is a 12 volt having a polarity -2 plus. So you can write 12 volt. There will be a voltage drop in 6 ohm resistance and 12 ohm resistance due to the current I1. So this 12 ohm and 6 ohm can be added 18 ohm. So there will be 18 ohm voltage drop in ABDA. So you can write 12 minus 18 I1 plus 12 I2, because there is another current I2 is also flowing from in loop 2, which is this current is also flowing from terminal D to B. So polarity of this I1 and I2 are opposite, so it can be written finally 12 minus 18 I1 plus 12 I2 equal to 0. Here you can also notice that there is a one current source is connected between terminal E and F, and value is 2 ampere, and we have assumed one loop current I2. So direction of this loop current I2 and current flowing between terminal F and E are opposite. So you can write I2 is equal to minus 2A. So just put the value of I2 equal to minus 2 ampere in previous equation. So after the solving you will get the current I1, and it comes equal to minus 2 by 3 ampere. Now apply the KVL around the outer loop to get the BTH across the terminal AB. So it can be written as 12 minus 6 I1 minus 3 I2 minus 2 into 0. Why 2 into 0? Because in this particular resistance 2 ohm there is no current, because it is an open circuit, just that's why it has been shown 2 into 0. Minus BTH is equal to 0. So final expression is what? 12 minus 6 I1 minus 3 I2 minus BTH is equal to 0. So after the solving this particular equation, you will get the value of Thevenin voltage, that is BTH is equal to 22 volt. So now you have calculated the Thevenin voltage, you have also calculated the value of the load resistance, that is RL is equal to RTH when maximum power is transferred. Now you have to calculate the maximum power. What is the value of the maximum power? So this P max is equal to what? BTH square upon 4 RL. And what is the value of BTH? It is 22. So just put the value 22 in BTH. So 22 into 22 upon 4 into 9, where 9 is the value of load resistance. So after the solving this expression, the value of this maximum power comes 13.44 watt. Now we have to understand what is a dependent source. Dependent or control source is a source in which source voltage or current is determined by another voltage or current elsewhere in the circuit being analyzed. It is usually represented by diamond shaped symbol. You can see in the figure A, dependent voltage source has been shown. Here between terminal A and B there is a voltage B, and polarity has been shown as plus and minus, and figure B shows the dependent current source. In this diamond shaped box there is a one arrow has been shown which represents that it has a dependent current source. Now dependent source are many types. It may be the voltage source, it may be the current source. Voltage source can also be classified as voltage controlled voltage source as shown in figure A, and it can also be classified as current controlled voltage source as shown in figure B. And then current source can also be classified as voltage controlled current source as shown in figure C, and current controlled current source as shown in figure D. So here you can see in the figure C, that means voltage across terminal C and D, that voltage Bs is written as mu V1, where mu is a constant and V1 voltage is across terminal AB of another branch. That means the value of this voltage Bs across the terminal CD depends on the voltage in another branch, that is V1, which is connected between terminal A and B. Similarly in the figure B you can notice that this Bs is written as RI1. That means this is called current controlled voltage source. So value of this voltage source between terminal CD depends on the current flowing through branch AB in another branch. So this is called current controlled voltage source. In figure C you can see it is called voltage controlled current source. So this value of the current flowing through terminal CD is equal to written as ZV1. That means current flowing between terminal CD in figure C depends on voltage across terminal AB in another branch. Similarly in figure B there is a current controlled current source. That means value of this current depend on the current of another branch which is flowing between terminal A, B. So value of current between terminal C and D in figure D is equal to beta I1, where I1 is current flowing through terminal AB in figure D. So this is all about the dependent source, and circuit and symbols are shown in these following figures. So dear learner, in this particular session we have discussed Norton theorem, which states that any two-terminal linear bilateral active network can be replaced by a Norton current source in parallel with Norton resistance. We have also discussed maximum power transfer theorem, and maximum power transfer theorem states that maximum power will be transferred from source to load when this load resistance equal to the internal resistance of the circuit, or you can say Thevenin resistance of the circuit. Our next two lecture will focus on how to apply all these network theorem in different circuits. Thank you very much.